That's what I'm saying. Maybe they have a plan as to how they're
I
gonna do
doubt
it.
it.
You think they're trying to figure it out as they go?
It could be, but maybe they don't have somebody that is that familiar with the source material, or
No, I doubt it
a me-
because Oda himself made had them reshoot a whole bunch of things.
maybe, but maybe he's so close to the project because of his own. Maybe it's just a short sight.
You imagine if Oda's just like, I don't
How you
know.
supposed? Well, get lost. Look at him.
I, I don't know.
Like sometimes you have to be far from the project to you have to see the forest for the trees.
He said the forest from the trees.
You have
Okay,
to see
okay.
the trees from the forest or something like that. Whatever.
You have to go above the trees to see the forest.
Yeah. You can't be in the forest to see the can't see the forest from the trees.
Okay, I think that might
So
be better. Yeah,
so we're looking at the forest, and we're like, okay, you could do this a little bit different. And maybe he can't see it because he's totally, within the world of One Piece. That, he's trying to see it one way, the anime way, because that's all he's known and drew, and he can't,
I think that.
how convey that into real life.
So wait, would the episode be the trees and the One Piece itself would be the entire forest?
The whole of One Piece would be the forest.
But this particular episode would be the tree or like the
Yeah,
hockey display.
it would be a branch technically.
Oh man, this analogy has fucked my head up.
It's
Like
a
you,
branch of a
like
tree.
I'm there, but I'm lost at the same time. I don't know how to explain
Like
it.
they could have the same distortion wave, and then each hockey have a certain color, so okay, what kind of hockey they use.
Well, that might be hard because I mean the way it's gonna change is when they do the armament hockey. There, that has a different
Well,
color
the
itself.
the the armament hockey is a physical property,
Yeah.
so that's easy to convey because it's physical, it's tangible.
Yeah, but why would you give a different color to the Conqueror hockey? It doesn't really show any kind of different color until
So
much
does
later.
it, so well, neither does
The coat of arms when they use the Conqueror's hockey to
how
run through
about was that Usopp's was that his vision hockey or whatever,
observation hockey.
his observation hockey.
Yeah.
Because shouldn't it have a color to denote that it's not conqueror's hockey?
Ah,
It's
see
just
that.
I'm just using the have different colors as a mean to differentiate between the different forms of hockey. Like you could use the let's say the physical hockey,
The armament.
the armament hockey,
Uh huh.
have that a color. That's a color.
Okay.
Then you can have the conqueror have a different color.
Okay. They don't see. I don't think they give
They
the.
don't give it, but I'm just saying for the fact they're
It
taking
comes much later.
they're taking intellectual
Intellectual
intellectual uh
liberties.
liberties with
That's our thesaurus word of the day.
yes intellectual liberties with the with the source material anyway. So why
Well,
why couldn't they?
well, it's because Oda shows it much later in the series when Luffy starts fighting stronger characters and their hockey starts clashing. Then it goes a little bit more into the different shades, different colors. Because now, when they show Luffy getting Rio, his hockey is Conqueror and Armament, and they're two different colors. When the big, like the
Exactly.
major pirates clash, colors are differentiated there.
But that's also partially their I want to say their energies, but their energies are probably different as well. That would change their properties of their hockey.
What if they already have plans for that? and they're just showing generalized right now because it's something new. Like right now, technically, no one's supposed to know what the hell Shanks did. We know what it is because we are familiar with the series, but this is supposed to be from the eyes of someone brand new,
Okay.
never seen this.
Okay.
So now,
Okay. So you could still do that, but instead of make it um like a dramatic change in color, you just make a flash, and you're like, oh, did I say something? And not really distinct a specific color.
okay, true, they probably could have did a lot more with the display of that. I
Because
could
in
agree
the
with that.
anime, that you saw something, you're like, oh, something happened. Here, he just looked at him and he's like, get lost.
Yeah. So if you're a new guy, you'd be like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah.
If you're someone seasoned like us, who could be like, "Oh, we know exactly what happened,"
Hmm.
but you wish that there was more of a visual aspect to it.
Yeah.
I can't tell if I got a burp or fart right now. I think I almost imploded. Like the episode dragged on, even though it had moments of action. It kept my attention, but it dragged on at the same time.
Yeah.
It was a weird bipolar kind of feeling.
Yeah. It was a lot of, it was a lot going on and nothing going on at the same time.
You know what? It didn't wow me. It didn't give me that wow factor. It's like, oh, I remember this. I remember that. I remember the stuff. But it's like, all right, yeah, okay. It was underwhelming to a point.
I felt like it didn't do anything to the story.
Yeah,
It felt not, like nothing that moved the story into a certain place.
maybe that's just us being critical because of what we know what happens between the different episodes, the different islands. I
Could
get,
be.
I get what you mean, but this is almost like a live action filler.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though they showed an important character, because Buggy technically is an important character in the series.
Yeah, but doesn't his place in this in the first season isn't that significant or not?
We don't find out he's significant until much later. Like right now, he hinted at it because he recognized the ever changing Straw Hat.
And he said that Shanks betrayed him,
Yes.
which I don't remember if he said that. And
I don't think Shanks actually betrayed him. I think Buggy took something that Shanks did as a betrayal.
and
Like maybe
then
Shanks decided to just go on his own way
yeah,
or had something to do with maybe one of the devil fruits. I don't remember what the storyline between them was. Or maybe it was because Shanks saved Buggy at one point and didn't get to see the One Piece.
mm. But it felt like it didn't. This episode felt like it didn't lead to the next progression in the story. That's what it felt like.
Yes. Yes. I get what you mean. Like the beginning kind of did because they showed the end of where Morgan was, like where
Yeah,
Luffy and Zoro left the island. So he showed the possession of like the Marines, but then all of a sudden they just ended up in Buggy's town.
yeah,
So it was like one moment they're in the middle of the ocean, the next moment they're just in a town,
yeah.
randomly being locked up. So yeah, I get that part.
And then they left.
They kicked his ass and they left.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they didn't go into the history or like the backstory of Buggy being an ass to
it,
the entire town and
yeah,
blowing it up. They didn't show the Buggy bomb, which I thought they would.
yeah,
I was hoping they would.
yeah. That's like I although I love the buggy that part of the story, but is it necessary to tell the story?
I don't think it was. I think it was more along the lines of showing the devil fruit
Mm.
because they showed a lot of Luffy stretching and his attacks were pretty good
Hmm.
the way they looked, and they showed Buggy's devil fruit power coming out to play,
Yeah,
and like it actually looked feasible.
yeah.
It looked realistic for the show itself.
But here's the thing: in the anime, Buggy fight was like one of the first epic fights.
Okay.
It didn't feel epic here.
Well, that to me was like the entire episode. It didn't feel epic. They showed important things, but it felt like a blah setting.
Yeah, it's like you had the whole town there watching, and
Did
that
you?
was it.
I was like, did you?
And that was
Did you?
it.
Did you lose your train of thought for
No,
a second?
they were just watching, silent, and that was it.
Was the town within the thing when they were fighting? They
Yeah,
were in the tent.
yeah.
Oh man, I don't remember seeing them.
They didn't. After they finished fighting them, that's when they released them. They were all chained to the
That's
seats.
right. They were. They were. Yeah, yeah.
So it's like he had a captive audience that had
Nowhere to go and no
no
one got hurt.
reaction, no reaction.
Oh, that's true. They had a huge fight and there was no reaction. Okay, I didn't think about that.
It's like, okay, he got rid of Buggy, and there's nothing.
Yeah,
The
and
crowd just watched.
the entire episode very anticlimactic for me because even when Shanks dispersed, got rid of the Sea King, it was anticlimactic.
Yeah,
Like the first episode compared to this one, the first episode was dope.
yeah.
This was underwhelming.
It felt like it felt rushed, or it felt either it was felt like it was too much. They tried to put too much in a short period of time.
They did the same thing with the first episode, but the first episode it worked. I hope this isn't one of those shows where every single episode has a different director.
Mm.
You know how they do that
Yeah,
sometimes?
yeah.
If this is the same director, hey, this boy dropped the ball with this one.
Fell asleep.
He let the intern direct. God damn those interns.
Say,
Fucking
all
with the
right, I'm
CGI.
going to lunch. You can direct this one.
I don't care, do what you want.
But yeah, it felt disjointed
Yeah,
from the first episode.
yeah. It didn't flow cohesively. It to me it could have done without
Even
this
though they
episode.
were in essentially they were in one spot, except for Nami. She got to go outside.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because the entire time, most of the episode, they're inside the tent.
Yeah,
What I did like the way they pulled off was Buggy himself, the makeup. I don't like his appearance looked
yeah.
cool. The the acting, the trying to make him into like a very serious character or like trying to make him into like a badass clown
Uh-huh.
just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, it lacked the comedic delivery of certain parts.
Was he more serious in those first couple of episodes? Because he becomes more of a comic relief much later on. Because we think he's supposed to be a badass pirate.
I think he still had those comedic parts, even when he was perceived as the dastardly pirate.
The only comedic part was at the very end when he was just hands, feet, and
He-
head.
but is that his acting, or is that just the fact that he was just hands?
It's just the fact that he was hands, feet, and legs. Just the way he looked. That was the funniest part.
So I think they dropped the ball on that. They
You think so? That part to me was pretty good. I think that's the only part of Buggy within like that was the best part I want to say.
Mm.
That was the comedic part coming out, the comic relief.
Yeah, but there was other comedic parts that he had
I honestly don't remember.
during the episode that got everybody laughing.
What? Well, he forced them to laugh. It wasn't like it didn't actually make me go hee.
Well, it's like it's usually well, in this episode there was nothing that except for the hands, feet, and head, like that made me laugh. that he did.